When you conquered your first marathon, like I just shared kind of like what it was like for me, because I was like, I knew in my mind, I think that visualization of there was only going to be that person giving me that medal, plus my girlfriends were on either side, but I was prepared for that because I had that moment of, I think I was sharing with you, I was training. I was listening to a podcast with Tony Robbins and Siri Lindley, and she had been talking about always participating to have validation. And
Oh,
then she's like, "No, I need to validate myself." And that was part of the reason I didn't tell anybody that I was running this marathon except for my close girlfriends, and they didn't tell anybody. So it became that, like you said, like in the magazine, it became that reality which I didn't anticipate, you know? And then when I got to the end, I'm like, it was that deja vu moment, right? You feel like, "Oh my gosh, I've kind of been here before." Not knowing exactly what it looked like. So when you finished your first marathon, how did you feel? Like, I just want you to walk us through that feeling. You had never ran, or you were the closet runner, and then you went into your 7-kilometer run and just seized this new life within you. How was it when you finished that marathon, knowing that only 3% of the population actually does a marathon?
I still remember that first marathon. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I think I had delirium. There was partial deliriousness happening. I got to the finish line. My kids and family were waiting for me. It was the first marathon, so it was, super special. And I kind of stood there and couldn't believe that I made it and that it was 6 hours. And um I had to run to the bathroom. And then
I get it.
and then I let the kids and family go ahead. I knew I needed to walk back to the hotel, because you just have to, walk out your legs a little bit. And I remember I've got that, what's that called? That aluminum kind of blanket on me, the warmth blanket on me that they give you at the end of the race. And I remember I had covered myself with it. I still had the medal around me, and I stood at this crosswalk, waiting for the light to turn green. And I pulled out my phone and I recorded myself, and I was like, "I'm a marathoner."
Oh my gosh.
Still have that video. And it was just this like incredible, can't believe this moment. It was one of those moments like I can't believe this. And when you're going through the the moments, the steps of that, when you're going through the motions, right? Left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot, and you're
Yeah.
like, and you're just thinking, is this going to end? When is it going to end? But you know it's going to end. And recently, I heard this podcast, and somebody said, "Don't wish it to end. Don't
Wow.
wish it to end because it's going to go by so fast." And that is so true. And I remember when I was at my 100-kilometer race at the end of August in Zion in Utah, and I was wishing for it to end. And I remember mile 70, it was the last 10-mile loop, and I wished it wouldn't end. I wished it wouldn't end. It was, you're just like, because anytime you have those firsts, the first 100 kilometers, the first 50K, the first marathon, it is so hard to get through those races. And then you're at the last kilometer or the last loop, and you just wish it didn't end.
Is it that you find your groove, or like for myself, I find it takes me, when I was running the marathon, it took me till 7K
Oh,
to
yeah,
really find my cadence, to feel like, "Oh yeah, okay, I found my rhythm."
100%. Absolutely. Your body takes anywhere from, you know, uh, especially when you're running, it can take anywhere from 3 to 7 kilometers to warm up. And
Yeah.
also depending on the time of the year. So it all depends. And when I was in Utah, it took me the 3rd loop, so 30 miles to get into a rhythm. Because not to mention, I had to catch up to the elevation. So my oxygen was stifled or stifled. I mean, I couldn't breathe properly. So it took until the 3rd loop for me to get into my groove. And you imagine how many people give up before they get into their groove.
So let's talk about giving up, the quitting.
Mm.
Like, you are now at what, 2,100 days consecutive plus?
Yeah, 2,111 days today.
That is amazing. And do you ever think there's a day that, "Oh my god, I just can't squeeze this in?"
There has there has happened where there were a few days where I was like, "I shouldn't have left this till the end," you know?
Yeah.
Or I'd be doing it at 8 or 9 at night, and that's very recent with, like, a little bit of, maybe too much travel and things like that, but I'll tell you, in the 1st year when I started the streak, I can I can count on both hands how many nights I left it till the very end, and I was out there at 10 o'clock at night crying in the street, and I was so close to quitting. I'm telling you, so close to quitting, and I'm out there, and it's, 10:30 at night. I make it barely just before midnight for it to count for that day, and I'm crying, and I'm going, "Why am I doing this? This is so stupid." But you those are the days that build they're the days where you don't break promises to yourself, and they're the days that build character.